Let's talk about the cloud forest. This futuristic greenhouse is, in my opinion, the best attraction at Gardens by the Bay in Singapore. And that's saying a lot, because it has some stiff competition with the Super Tree Grove and its neighboring flower dome. The cloud forest is the tallest greenhouse in the complex, reaching a height of 58 meters, compared to the 38 meters of its neighbor, the flower dome. For this reason, from the outside, it looks more imposing. But don't be fooled. The cloud forest has less than 77% of the volume of the flower dome because its base of 8,000 square meters is below the 12,000 of its neighbor. However, the main charm of the cloud forest is not its size, but its content and its beauty. Although don't get me wrong, it's still gigantic. With its ultra-modern design, this glass and steel structure is called the cloud forest because it aims to bring the plant ecosystems of tropical mountain regions, or cloud forests, to Singapore. And I don't know if you checked the map, but Singapore is at sea level. So you can find flora here that grows between 1,000 and 3,500 meters above sea level. Coming from places as diverse as Southeast Asia and Central and South America. Something that would be impossible in natural conditions. To achieve this, the cloud forest needs to emulate the cool and humid conditions of the plant's native habitats. And yes, doing something like this is precisely a greenhouse's function, but this space's design is on another level. As soon as you enter the complex, you are greeted by this artificial waterfall, the second tallest indoor waterfall in the world, reaching about 35 meters high. If you're wondering where the first one might be, it turns out it's in the same Singapore, but in its airport. It's the famous rain vortex, which is 5 meters taller. Although it's just at the entrance, it's worth spending a few minutes at the waterfall because it offers one of the most beautiful places in all of Singapore. But be prepared, because in this building, you'll enter a couple of more places that deserve to be on that podium. In addition to being beautiful, the waterfall is useful. It has other functions, beyond giving you the best souvenir photos of your visit to the complex and bringing out the worst in you, competing for space and photo opportunities with the rest of the tourists. Indeed, the waterfall is essential for the life of the nursery. Its falling water produces a fine mist, which helps to generate a microclimate suitable for vegetation and contributes to cooling the space. This is because the more than 130,000 plants that inhabit this unique space would not survive outdoors. A constant temperature between 23 degrees and 25 degrees Celsius is required, with air humidity between 80% and 90%. Obviously, the waterfall doesn't do it alone, as the building has humidifiers in different areas of the complex, and also a thermal stratification system that, through cold water pipes in the floor slab, helps to cool the air. But besides being useful and beautiful, it is a sustainable waterfall, as it recycles its own water. In fact, 50,000 liters recirculate every hour. Sustainability is a hallmark of the entire complex. Its dome is specially designed to allow the passage of natural light while filtering excessive heat. And the building also continuously collects rainwater, which is then used to maintain the waterfall and irrigate all the plants in the cloud forest. It would be Greta Thunberg's dream come true, were it not for the fact that artificially maintaining a garden so far from its natural conditions is not exactly an ecological idea. However, this is offset by the fact that, in addition to being a tourist site, the cloud forest houses research on sustainable agriculture. This tremendous green colossus that stands at the center of the complex and from which the waterfall falls is a 42-meter artificial mountain called Cloud Mountain. It is covered in a green mantle of epiphytic plants, ferns, orchids, and other species that you would only find in tropical mountains. And yes, both the mountain's design and the sensation of the climate-controlled environment can evoke a little of the Machu Picchu jungle. And what a coincidence, because when I took this video, there was just an exhibition of Machu Picchu orchids in the complex. I would like to say that I am a very observant and analytical person who suddenly notices the similarities between this artificial mountain and that place in Peru, but the truth is that I only realized it when I saw this model. The Machu Picchu model was right at the opposite end of the waterfall, in an area called Orchid Haven. And learning the names of the areas can be useful because the complex has different sectors with different thematic attractions. You can see them in this diagram that I took from the official Gardens by the Bay website. Just because of the Peruvian exhibition, the Orchid Haven was full of these decorations, which accompanied the Peruvian orchids. But this exhibition was temporary. A year before, when I went, the entire enclosure was decorated with avatar figures, and the truth is that it fit perfectly, because being here is like being in Pandora. What follows after this is to climb to the top of the mountain and then go down it, visiting each of its sectors. But you have to be patient because sometimes there is a queue to enter. At the top of the mountain, we find Lost World. This space is populated by plants that are found above 2,000 meters above sea level, some of them endangered. In the middle, there is a beautiful fountain with crystal flowers surrounded by natural vegetation. I had never seen carnivorous plants so close, and you had to see them up close because, although I didn't know it, they are very tiny. Fortunately. Then you can go down the highest walkway in the complex called Cloud Walk. From here, you have a spectacular view of the entire greenhouse and its vegetation. But please, don't ignore the beautiful views you have of the outside. This greenhouse can be enjoyed inside and out. The walkway ends when it enters exhibitions inside the mountain, and the first one couldn't be called anything but the cavern. Through its windows, you can see how epiphytic plants have adapted. That is, those that grow hanging from other plants or objects without parasitizing them nutritionally. But they do cause mechanical parasitism because of living hanging from them. An escalator will take us to the lower level called Crystal Mountain, which has various interactive installations and some simulated stalactites and stalagmites. Additionally, at this level, you can see these carnivorous plants, and I can show you how small they are using my hand as a reference. This one here is the Nepenthes truncata from the Philippines. And as small as it is, it can eat an entire rat. Then we move on to a new outdoor walkway called Tree Top Walk, which, although much lower than the first one we walked on, offers a wider view of the entire complex. From here, you can get a better view of the mountain, and also that walkway you see above, the one we already passed through, the Cloud Walk. Here, you have a much better perspective of the important things in the complex. Although many people take photos from above, and they must look spectacular, If you want a photo where you can better understand everything you visited, I think this is the right walkway. Then we go down to the gallery and the theater with thematic exhibitions to reach the place that, in my opinion, rivals the beauty of the waterfall, the secret garden. This space's beauty on the cloud forest's ground floor is truly indescribable. And this window overlooking the secret garden, in my opinion, is the best part of the place. I could contemplate it for hours, but the visitors who were pressuring me to keep moving and let them have a look made it difficult for me. The atmosphere of this place is magical. The density of the vegetation, the sound of falling water, and the scent of damp vegetation make you really not want to leave here. You can also look up and get another perspective of the mountain. But what is really beautiful is down here. Also, the way you access the beautiful garden is playful. You go playing, looking through these windows, finding a different perspective of the beauty of the secret garden each time. You can also find different ornaments, which, although they are beautiful, I think were unnecessary. Just the combination of vegetation and water made this space something spectacular. But I suppose some people get bored, so they wanted to put more things. And now I will be quiet for a while so you can contemplate this beauty. And so ends my visit to the cloud forest, a space that I would really like to visit several times. I hope I have been able to communicate why, as I told you at the beginning, it is my favorite attraction at Gardens by the Bay. But we have to say goodbye, or see you soon.